everything right, it was you and me.
Hello everyone, my name is 𝓶𝓸𝓬𝓬 and welcome back to my channel, or two if you are new. And for today's video, we have a workplace romance book recommendation video. I love workplace romances so much, and this is actually pretty fitting because I am starting a new job in June. I started May 31st, and I'm just in the spirit of work and getting money and chasing the bag, honestly. So that's what kind of inspired this workplace romance. I have 5 books to recommend to you guys today, and as always, let me know if you guys want a part 2. I'd be happy to film that as well. So without further ado, let's just get right into workplace romances. Okay, so the first book that I would love to recommend is a book called Praise by Sarah Kate. I actually recently read this because of the hype surrounding it, and the hype was so worth it, let me tell you. This is actually ex-boyfriend's father, which we all love. It's a workplace romance. This girl named Charlie and her boyfriend just broke up. They shared an apartment. She just moved out of the apartment. The book starts off with her hunting down her ex-boyfriend to get half of the security deposit back on the apartment since they moved out. Because his father like co-signed the apartment, he has the security deposit. Her ex-boyfriend gives the address of his father to the heroine, and she goes and meets him. We also find out from the little prologue that his father, Emerson, the hero, he opened kind of like this kink club. People with like-minded kinks can come and get together and have fun. Also know that the father and the son are estranged. They don't talk anymore. So she goes to the address that was given. She just wants to get her security deposit back, but the hero thinks that she is somebody else, kind of like auditioning to be his new sex partner. I don't really know what he thought she was, but his whole thing, his whole kink is that he really likes praise on sub. So he tells her to get down on her knees, and like he's like examining her, and she's like, what is going on? I just want half my check. And then she was like, wait a minute, I think you're confused. I am Charlie. I just came here to get my check. And so he feels really humiliated and embarrassed. She gets him the check. They go about their business until he comes to her work and offers her a job being his secretary. Not like sexual secretary, just his plain secretary. And when I read this, I started to get nervous because I feel like I've read just so much about sex clubs and like sex workers, and I do like that, but I just wasn't really in the mood to read about it in the present moment. So I was really happy to see that she was just his secretary for his own personal like life and stuff, and she worked from his home office. But ever since the whole like her getting on her knees, him calling her a good girl, sparks have been flying, chemistry has been flying, but the hero does not want to pursue anything with her because that is his son's ex-girlfriend, and they are already estranged enough. Like if he starts to date this girl, then what? Obviously the chemistry can't be denied. They act upon it, and it is so hot and so good. I loved it so much. I really loved the character growth of here as well, of Charlie, the heroine. She really left that relationship with such a bad self-concept, and she really didn't like herself, and she didn't feel worthy of anything or any love of anything good that could come to her. That changed, and she loves herself, and it's so good to see like a character learn their full potential and learn their worth. So I highly recommend this book. It is a great workplace romance. They both work in his home office. So good. So worth the hype. Highly recommend it. The next book that I would love to recommend is Stroke of Midnight, and that is the first book in the Skyscraper Cinderella series. Don't worry, this is not just one book, it's all 3 of the books together. But this is a great workplace romance. It starts off as a workplace romance, and then it kind of evolves into more, obviously. This is a Cinderella retelling, which I love so much. It follows the heroine Ash. Ash is hating her life right now. Her father just got remarried. She also found out that her father used all of her college money on his new wife. She's like panicking because she's like, I want to get out of this house. I want to go to college. I have no money. There's no money left. And so her new stepmom sets her up with the job cleaning office buildings for this company. And she's like, okay, well, I guess I have to do what I have to do. So she starts to work there, but the offices are impeccably clean. She's tasked to clean the Constantine office building. Who owns that is Winston Constantine. Winston is kind of like a man who really likes structure and cleanliness. He just really wants everything to be clean and put together. So one day he comes into his office and sees candy wrappers all on the floor, and he's like, whoever was in here did not clean my office. So he checks the security tapes and sees Ash just like not cleaning, watching some videos on her phone, feet propped up on the desk. He's like, oh hell no. So the next night when she comes to clean the offices, he's there and he's waiting, but he does not expect such a beautiful girl to be there. He is instantly like, oh wait a minute, I want her. So his whole thing is also, my camera's about to die. His whole thing is degradation and humiliating whoever he's with. So he asked her to do these humiliating things in order to get money. And it's kind of like a sugar baby, sugar daddy type of romance, and it's so good. When I started it, I was like, this is just not my vibe, but no, it was so good, and I'm so glad I continued with it. She kind of gets bumped up to his assistant, so it's like assistant boss, and it's so hot. It is so good. I literally cried for some of the parts in this whole trilogy, but it's so worth it. You guys will love this book. If we have similar reading tastes, you will love this book. So I highly recommend. It's such a great workplace romance. The next book that I'm recommending is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I read this in April and fell in love, or March, I'm not really sure, but I love this book and it is such a good workplace romance. This book follows Rowan, billionaire. He is a billionaire. So his grandfather created this amusement park that is booming with success, kind of like a Disneyland, but it's called Dreamland. When his grandfather passed away, one of his wishes was that Rowan temporarily take over Dreamland and come up with the ideas to make the park even greater. But the issue is Rowan hates Dreamland. Rowan is a very grumpy person. He has not gone back to Dreamland since his mother passed away, and he has a horrible relationship with his father. His father is really manipulative and toxic, and so he just really does not like Dreamland. He doesn't like happiness, he doesn't like joy, he doesn't like laughter and kids. So this task that he has to do is just like not what he wants to do in the slightest. But in order to get like a higher position in like another business venture that his grandfather owns, he has to do this. So he does, and there he meets Zara. Zara is the heroine. She's the complete opposite. She's a sunshine character. She loves Dreamland so much. She's always worked at Dreamland. Everybody in her family works at Dreamland. She loves children and laughter and fun, so they're complete opposites. One night, Zara sends a kind of like a drunk proposal, basically criticizing the ride's most famous and popular ride, and she expects to be fired, but actually she gets promoted, and now she's working directly underneath Rowan. Rowan is just very infatuated and interested in Zara. He's like, who is she and why is she so happy and sunshiny and why does she love this place so much? And so he really just wants to get to know her, but also he's like, not really, like I don't really care about her, but he's doing like little things to like happy and make her life easier and treats her really well. And this also has the you got mail trope, because they're talking without Zara knowing that she's talking to her boss. And it is such a cute romance, guys. This book made me so emotional for some reason, because they just had a lot to, Rowan just had a lot to realize about his life and the life that he leads and what makes him happy, and I just couldn't. I was literally in my Goodreads review, I was like, check on your friends when they finish this book, because I was not okay. I thought this book was great. It's a great workplace romance. It's also really unique and magical because it's not a workplace romance in the typical sense. They obviously are working at Dreamland, and I just thought it was such a great workplace romance. Grumpy sunshine, hilarious. I really enjoyed this one. The next book that I would love to recommend is The Stopover by Teal Swan. I love this book so much, and it is so hot and so funny and so this is everything. This is a workplace romance, but it didn't start off that way. So this actually started off as a one-night stand. The heroine and the hero actually meet on a plane one day. There was an unexpected like stopover, and so they made their own plans, fun, and they hooked up. That was a year ago, and now our heroine just started a new company, and guess who owns the company? the guy that she hooked up with. I need to reread this soon. I love it so much. She was like really surprised to see him. This also has the grumpy sunshine trope, but what I really love about this book is that even though it is a billionaire romance, the heroine wasn't really meek and timid and shy. She was very strong-willed and she worked for what she wanted. I also love that it is a news outlet media company, which was so interesting to read about. She had to go and get leads and she had to like really prove herself in this company. There was a lot of drama and a lot of back and forth and tons of banter. I really just love that the hero is very pushy and the heroine pushes back. It's such a fun workplace environment. I just love news outlets and media companies, so this was just really entertaining, really hot. Like T.L. Swan by far writes some of the best smut that I've ever read in my life. Every single book that I've read by her, I'm like, why is this so hot? She knows what she's doing. So I highly recommend this book. It's such a fun time. The next book that I'd love to recommend to you guys is Under Lock by Mariana Zapata. This is such an amazing workplace romance, and it has another really cool setting because it takes place at a tattoo shop. Our heroine, Iris, just moved in with her brother. She is unemployed, has nowhere to go, and her life is kind of crashing before her very eyes. So her brother sets her up with a job at a business that his best friend owned, and that is a tattoo shop. This is also kind of like a motorcycle club. He is an ex-felon. The hero is also a widower. It's kind of forbidden in an aspect. So Iris, the heroine, she starts her new job as a secretary, kind of like front desk person. She really genuinely feels like the hero, her boss, and her brother's best friend hates her. He's super rude and impatient. He just really seems like he does not want her working there. So romance between them ensues, of course. I thought that this book was just so cute. I love seeing the little hints in Mariana Zapata's books of, oh wait, he actually really cares for her, because you couldn't tell without them, because he really just was a jerk to her. But I love when guys are mean, so this book really did it for me. Like I said, I loved like the workplace because it was a tattoo shop, and I found that really interesting. I loved Iris's relationships with all the other tattoo artists. I love the jealousy scenes whenever he saw like the tattoo artist flirting with Iris. It was just so great. I love Mariana Zapata, and I really love this one. So that is the last book that I'm going to recommend for workplace romances. Again, let me know if you guys want a part 2. I love workplace romances. And also let me know if you guys have any workplace romances that you think that I should read. I would love to add them to my TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a big like and a comment down below, and also subscribe so you never miss another upload from me. And I will see you very shortly with a new video. Bye!
If I got one thing right, it was you